The Pickleball Show is brought to you by PBX Club. PBX stands for Pickleball Excellence. Join today and get the latest pickleball tips and strategies, news and opinion. Save money on paddles and other equipment with coupon codes to online pickleball retailers. Get travel discounts to tournaments and a whole lot more. How much does it cost to become a PBX Club member? Well, it's free. Just go to freepbxclub.com. That's freepbxclub.com. There's even a link in the show notes for this episode. freepbxclub.com. PBX Pickleball Excellence. Join the club. It's free.
This is Gail Leach, author of The Art of Pickleball, and here's the host of The Pickleball Show, Chris Allen.
Thank you, Gail, and welcome to the show dedicated to helping you play better pickleball while having even more fun and meeting new friends who share your passion for this great sport. My name is Chris Allen, joining you today from Asheville, North Carolina. And what do you say? Let's walk on over and see whose paddle is in the fence today. Joining us from California, it is the one and only Prem Carnot, author of Smart Pickleball and one of the world's top pickleball coaches. Prem, how are you today?
Good morning, Chris. I'm very well. Thanks for having me on your show.
So good to talk to you again. I know that you've been super busy. I am a subscriber to your newsletter, and I recommend that everybody subscribe to it. You've been the world traveler the last few months. You've been teaching pickleball not just throughout the United States, but you've taken it overseas. You've been to Europe. What countries did you visit in the past few months?
Last month and the last few months has been pretty hectic. I had a 2-month tour on the east coast of the United States, and then 3 months from there I had to fly out directly to Spain, where I taught in Madrid. Part of the Viva Pickleball tours, I was their tour pro, so I was there for 9 days teaching the local players in Spain, but also players who came from the United States who were part of the tour. And then from there I moved to Nice in southern France, where the French Federation of Pickleball is existing right now, and I went down to teach there, and there were also some demonstrations out there in Nice, France, in the French Riviera. And then from there, visited Paris, though I didn't do much of pickleball in Paris. My family are there. From there, moved to England to see also my sister, but then near her place in the Midlands, in a little town called Solihull, I had to go and teach and do some demonstration of pickleball. Most of these demonstration and pickleball pictures are actually on my Facebook page, the Pickleball Guru. We'll
link to that in the show notes. It's facebook.com/the Pickleball Guru.
That's right.
Boy, that's nice, playing pickleball in the French Riviera. It's got to be a nice experience, nice way to spend a few days.
Absolutely, and I'm actually planning to go back next year, and I'm probably going to take a few people along with me back to the French Riviera and give a very, very exponential experience of not only pickleball, but also culminating with a lot of experience in the French Riviera between obviously the Mediterranean, Monte Carlo, and a lot of other wonderful culinary experiences which France has to offer. So that's in the plans for 2016. It's probably in September 2016 is where I'm planning to do that.
Keep us posted, and we will definitely spread the word as the dates draw near.
Perfect. From England, I went down to Germany, in Frankfurt precisely, and then from there to Amsterdam, where I also taught again a lot of pickleball.
You've really become just a worldwide ambassador, probably one of the top proponents of the sport, spreading the word and planting the seeds, not just around the United States, but around the world as well. So congratulations on that, and great job.
Thank you, Chris. It's very, very interesting to watch also players from different parts of the country. They are all in the nascent levels of their game. Obviously, it's not as big as it has been in the U.S.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that. It's a new sport to them, and they're pretty much just beginning. And is it hard to find equipment and places to play in these different countries?
Definitely, certain areas have difficulty on finding places to play, like how it happened in the States. It's slowly, definitely, the local ambassadors are making very strong inroads in their local communities. France actually was able to, in southern France, in the French Riviera, they were able to actually manage to get the community courts to be actually painted with pickleball lines. So they actually have dedicated four pickleball courts on an outdoor court, and they also have some indoor facilities.
Oh, great.
Amsterdam has done the same, as well as Solihull. And I heard that, though I didn't visit there, in the Oxford area in England, there's a very active, strong pickleball community emerging from there, and who participated in the international tournament in Madrid. And I think the English contingent was the biggest one in the European side.
Wow, that's exciting. Now, when we spoke a few months ago, before you left to go on your worldwide tour, I remember mentioning that I was looking forward to talking to you when you got back, just to see what you thought the differences were, if there were any differences between the American players and the European players. Do they have different strategies? Do they draw from other sports that we don't normally play here in the United States? I didn't know if having a background in cricket or other sports that are popular in Europe, if that would make a difference at all. And what did you find when you were in the different countries? Did you see differences coming from different sports?
That's a very interesting question, Chris. In Spain, there's a game which is very popular called the paddle.
The paddle?
The paddle, yes. It's just with one D, so it's P-A-D-L-E. And paddle is a game which resembles like platform tennis. It's not really on a platform tennis. It's a full-size net, and it's played with the walls around and played with something similar to a platform tennis racket, but it is a little bit different, a lot lighter, and it's very popular in Spain. I saw that actually a lot of those players from that background are actually playing pickleball, and their techniques are actually very advanced in certain ways. I'm not saying advanced compared to other racket sports, but it's making them an easier transition coming into playing pickleball for most of those paddle players I saw there in Spain. And in England, I was actually surprised at the amount of players who were there were mostly cricketers, or at least former cricket players coming from that background. They were able to actually use some of their techniques, which is unique to cricket, because I used to play cricket when I was a kid. And it was very interesting to notice that a certain way they play it.
What specifically would a cricket player maybe be more adept at or more skilled at than somebody maybe with just a baseball background here in the United States? Is there anything?
There's not anything much specific compared to the baseball, but there are a lot of those shots which are looks like a baseball strike shot. So there's a lot more swing with a little bit more of a two-handed style, which I see in cricket, with the bottom hand on the paddle, because they use a two hand to hit those strokes, and the bottom hand being more dominant.
What's something that an American player could maybe learn from a European player, technique-wise, and then what's something that a European player could learn from an American player? Is there anything like that?
I'm not sure there is much. Definitely a lot of European players can learn from our American counterparts in terms of the soft game, more patience, and waiting for the opportunity to play. And I think here in America, we have a lot more experience and a lot more time. As I said, it's still in the nascent level, so I think the European counterparts can learn more from the American side in terms of technique, but also in terms of approach the game. From the American side, I have something to learn from the European side. Sometimes I find certain groups more in an intense competitive place, even in a recreational setup. And I think I see it a lot different there in Europe, just generally being more relaxed about it and having fun with it. Maybe it's because still in the nascent stages, they're not, trying to beat on their opponents all the time.
They haven't forgotten that it's supposed to be fun and that it is just a game.
That's right.
Now, in England, they're certainly known for Wimbledon and the grass courts there. Maybe England could be the first location where they have grass pickleball courts.
I would.
The grass would probably get in the holes of the ball, though, and probably it would have to be some pretty short grass, wouldn't it, to not interfere with play?
That's totally true. But having said that, clay court could be definitely a good pickleball option, because I actually had played in a tournament on clay and actually won it a few years ago in Florida. And so maybe France can go with the red clay and try and see if that would work.
Yeah. Are you fluent in any of the languages that's native to the countries that you visited? And if not, I'm sure you couldn't be in all of them. How did you overcome the language barriers in the different countries you visited?
Being French by citizenship and having been born there and then having spent a lot of years in France, I am quite fluent in French. So French was definitely not an issue for me. In Spain, I do understand Spanish, but I don't speak it as fluently. But I could, because of my French influence, probably it's easier for me to understand more Spanish. But most of the Spanish players were able to speak English during the tour. Definitely, we had more people who spoke English, so that was easier to deal with that.
What about in Germany?
In Germany, most of them are mostly English-speaking expats, so it was not difficult. And same in Amsterdam. In Amsterdam, basically English is like a second language, so most of them spoke fluent English, actually. So there was no big issues there at all.
Now, what is the status of the equipment over there in terms of getting paddles and balls? Is it the same companies that we use here, and they're just exporting over into Europe, or do they have their own companies making paddles and nets and things like that?
Actually, your first part of the question answers that part. Definitely, a lot of the U.S. companies are exporting their products out there, and the local ambassadors or people who have initiated the movement in that part of the world have definitely bought equipment from here and been selling there. And there are a few companies, particularly ProLite has been very prominent around that area.
That's great that they have access to the same equipment that we have here.
And I have to thank all those local ambassadors for investing their personal time and money in getting those paddles out there and nets and equipments to make it easier for other people to access pickleball.
Any big takeaways? Any big things that you learned? Anything unexpected that you came back from Europe thinking, boy, I didn't see that coming, or I didn't plan for that?
Not particularly on the pickleball part of it, but I definitely, I'm a very strong history buff. I love a lot of historical sites, and I've spent a lot of time in parts of Europe learning a lot about architecture, and the tour gave me a lot of insights on, and the tour guides out there actually gave us a lot of insights about a different part of the European history, which I was not aware of. So I was blown away by the quality of information given and the way it was given in a very simple way. And then also visiting all the beautiful castles and old towns was very insightful for me personally. I enjoyed it, and I would like to continue doing more of those even in the French tour next year.
Well, like I said, definitely keep us posted, and if you do a 2016 tour over there via Viva Pickleball Tours, let us know and we'll spread the word. And I know that there are a lot of listeners who would love to join you next year.
Thank you, Chris. I will.
And Prem, you're going to join us next week. We want to talk next week about your new ratings and goals website where you can rate and evaluate yourself. Is that correct?
That's absolutely right, Chris.
Well, that sounds exciting, and I want to hear more about that, as well as a brand new format for your best-selling book, Smart Pickleball. And we'll hear more about that next week. Prem, look forward to talking to you then.
Thank you very much, Chris. Thanks for having me on your show.
That's Prem Carnot, one of the world's top pickleball coaches, and you can find out more about Prem and all that he's up to around the world at thepickleballguru.com. That's thepickleballguru.com. And you can also go to smartpickleball.com, and that'll take you there as well. So what are your thoughts about what we discussed today? We'd love to hear from you. Email us anytime. mail@pickleballshow.com. That's mail@pickleballshow.com. That's where you can find us on the internet too, pickleballshow.com. We're on Facebook as well, facebook.com/pickleballshow, twitter.com/wait for it, pickleballshow. We make it easy for you. And we'd love to hear from you anytime on any of those places. Also, head over to iTunes if you get a chance. Hit the subscribe button, which means you'll never miss an episode. Plus, if you feel it's appropriate, leave us a 5-star review, which helps boost us up in the rankings, makes it a lot easier for other pickleball players to find this show. I'm Chris Allen. This is The Pickleball Show, and until next week, keep 'em low. The Pickleball Show is brought to you by PBX Club. PBX stands for Pickleball Excellence. Join today and get the latest pickleball tips and strategies, news and opinion. Save money on paddles and other equipment with coupon codes to online pickleball retailers. Get travel discounts to tournaments and a whole lot more. How much does it cost to become a PBX Club member? Well, it's free. Just go to freepbxclub.com. That's freepbxclub.com. There's even a link in the show notes for this episode. freepbxclub.com. PBX Pickleball Excellence. Join the club. It's free.